My wife walked away from me and our kids, saying, "I don't want to waste my youth." 9 years later, she came back to be their mom again, but my kids had already picked their mom, and it wasn't her. I never thought my life would shatter because of a yoga retreat. But one conversation started a slow burn abandonment that ripped my family apart, and I was powerless to stop it. That feeling of being utterly alone with two terrified children? It's a gut punch you never prepare for. Nobody tells you abandonment isn't a sudden explosion, but a slow, suffocating fade that leaves you drowning before you even realize what's happening. Olivia, my ex, walked out 9 years ago. Liam was 6, Chloe was 4. Not for the usual reasons, not abuse or infidelity. No, her yoga friends convinced her she was wasting her youth tied down. I know how that sounds, bitter, exaggerated. But that's exactly what she said the night she left. We had a normal life, or so I thought. Tired, stressed, but trying. I was an automotive technician, she was a dental hygienist, home when the kids got off the bus. We weren't rich, but we were steady. Family dinners, park on weekends. Yeah, we bickered over bills or whose turn it was for bath time, but that felt like normal married life with young kids. A year before she left, Olivia joined a yoga studio in Midtown. She met Brenda, who instantly became her closest friend. Brenda was all about living authentically, finding her true self. She'd done the whole van life thing, posted sunsets with captions about freedom and breaking chains. At first, I was glad Olivia had a hobby. I even pushed her to go to weekend retreats, meditation workshops. I thought she needed something for her. But those retreats became girls' trips to the Appalachians. Workshops turned into excuses to stay out until midnight. Suddenly, Olivia was glued to Brenda's Instagram more than she spoke to our kids. I saw her tense up when Liam asked for homework help, or Chloe wanted a bedtime story. Their needs became an unbearable weight. She just needed to escape. I tried talking to her, maybe 3 or 4 times. Is everything okay? Should we get a sitter for more date nights? Her answer was always the same, I wouldn't understand, I hadn't given up my body and dreams for kids. That stung. We'd planned this life together, hadn't we? The breaking point came during our family vacation to Myrtle Beach. We'd rented a little cottage, right on the shore. I was genuinely excited, Liam and Chloe had talked about sandcastles for months. The first 2 days were perfect. Kites, shells, Chloe's uncontrollable giggles when a wave knocked her over. But that third night, after the kids were asleep, Olivia sat me down on the porch. She'd been thinking about her life. She felt like she was disappearing, playing mom and wife, but inside, screaming. Brenda, she said, helped her realize she didn't have to live like this. I asked what she meant. Her eyes were empty when she said, "I'm leaving, Daniel. I can't be their mother right now. I need to find out who I am without all of this." My hands started shaking. This wasn't about counseling or a break. This was abandonment. I begged her to consider Liam and Chloe, how they'd blame themselves, carry that trauma. But she just kept saying they'd understand later, that she'd return when she was ready, it was temporary. The next morning, she tried to explain, gently, that mommy needed a long trip. Liam, tears already streaming, immediately asked, "Did I do something wrong?" Chloe didn't understand. She just wrapped her tiny arms around Olivia's leg, sobbing, begging her to stay. Olivia cried too, but she packed her bags. I held Chloe, who shook so hard I thought she'd be sick. Liam locked himself in the bathroom for 2 hours. Olivia promised calls, visits, said she loved them more than anything. But even as she spoke, her eyes were checked out. She drove off toward Texas, where Brenda had moved. I stood in that parking lot, 2 traumatized kids asking, "When's mommy coming back?" The first few weeks were hell. Chloe stopped eating. Liam had nightmares, screaming for his mom. I had no answers. Olivia called a few times, drunk and rambling about her freedom, how she knew she made the right choice, but she missed them. These calls shattered the kids every time. She'd promised to visit for birthdays or Christmas, then vanish for months. After 6 months, I realized the calls did more harm than good. I changed our number. Told the kids Mommy was on her journey, we needed to give her space. I didn't block her email, figuring she might need to reach us for emergencies. But her emails were sporadic, always about her, never about the kids. 8 months after she left, I filed for divorce, citing abandonment. She never responded, never showed up to court. That was it. I was a single father, completely alone, raising 2 heartbroken children who couldn't understand why they weren't enough to make their mother stay. 3 years later, I met Grace at a parent-teacher conference for Chloe's 2nd grade class. No romantic movie moment, believe me. I was 20 minutes late, covered in grease from a brake job, forgot to change. Grace was Chloe's teacher. Chloe had been having behavioral issues, nothing major, but withdrawing, refusing things involving mothers, like the Mother's Day card project. I sat in that tiny classroom chair, feeling like a complete failure. Grace, though, explained it all in this calm voice. Chloe struggled with maternal figures, needed consistency. Instead of judging me, she asked, "What can I do to help?" That conversation turned into check-ins, then Grace tutoring Chloe and reading twice a week. And somewhere along the line, I realized I looked forward to those brief talks. Grace never pushed for more than friendship. Never made the kids uncomfortable or tried to replace their mom. She was just present, in this quiet, steady way I hadn't known for years. We started dating officially 6 months after that first conference, but I kept it low-key. Didn't introduce her to the kids as my girlfriend for another 4 months. I needed to be sure this was real, stable. The first time Grace came for dinner as more than Chloe's teacher, Liam was 9. He was suspicious of every woman, barely spoke, watched her like she might vanish. Chloe, 7, was cautiously excited but terrified. I saw her warm up to Grace, then pull back, like she remembered what happened last time she trusted a mom figure. Grace handled it perfectly. No grand gestures, no trying too hard. She just showed up, consistently, week after week. Proved she wasn't going anywhere. She came to Liam's basketball games, helped Chloe with her science project, even learned their favorite brand of mac and cheese. Slowly, over a year, they started to trust her. Olivia, meanwhile, had vanished. No emails for 2 years, no child support, ever. I tried reaching her through her sister for legal sign-offs, but she'd moved 3 times, changed her number. My lawyer said, given the abandonment and silence, we had grounds for termination of parental rights. I hesitated until Grace and I started talking marriage. We got engaged when Liam was 11, Chloe 9. I sat them down, explained Grace wanted to adopt them, be their legal mom. Liam's response was immediate, she's already more of a mom than Olivia ever was. Chloe just climbed into Grace's lap, stayed there for an hour. The adoption took almost a year. We had to prove we tried contacting Olivia. My lawyer found her in Montana, living in some intentional community, and served the papers. She never responded. No hearings, no contest. She just let her parental rights be terminated without a fight. The day it was finalized? One of the best days of my life. We celebrated at home with cake, pizza. That night, Chloe called Grace mom for the first time, no prompting. Liam had started months earlier, but Chloe held back, like she feared betraying Olivia. Hearing it from her felt like watching her release that last bit of trauma. Grace cried happy tears. My kids finally had the stable, loving home they deserved. We married 3 months later, small backyard ceremony, just family, the kids as our party. Life was good. Liam made varsity basketball as a freshman. Chloe found theater, got the lead in her middle school musical. Grace was there for all of it, in ways Olivia never had been, even when she lived with us. Then, 9 years after Olivia walked out of that Myrtle Beach cottage, she showed up. Random October afternoon. Older, tired, desperate. I opened the door expecting a delivery. Instead, my ex-wife stood there, tears in her eyes, saying she'd made the biggest mistake and wanted to be part of the kids' lives again. My first instinct was to slam the door. But she started talking fast, 2 years of therapy, realizing she'd run from herself, thinking about Liam and Chloe every day, couldn't live with the guilt. She knew she didn't deserve forgiveness, but wanted a chance to explain, maybe slowly build some relationship. I told her, you can't just show up after 9 years. They have a mom now, one who's actually been there. But Olivia insisted she was still their biological mother, that it mattered. Against my better judgment, after talking with Grace, who was surprisingly open to supervised contact, I agreed to one meeting in our living room, with us present. Liam was 15, Chloe 13. When I told them their birth mother wanted to see them, Liam's face went blank. He flat out refused. Chloe was conflicted. I saw her struggle between curiosity and fear, but she ultimately agreed, just to hear her out. The meeting was a disaster. Olivia tried to hug Chloe, who immediately stepped back, hiding behind Grace. She tried small talk with Liam, who sat arms crossed, wouldn't even look at her. Olivia launched into a prepared speech about her journey, her healing, how selfish she'd been. But everything was still about her feelings, her growth, never acknowledging the damage. Chloe just sat there, quietly crying. Finally, Liam cut her off, his voice ice. You don't get to do this. You don't get to show up and act like you care now. We have a mom, and you're not her. Olivia's face crumpled. She tried to argue she'd always be their real mother, that biology mattered, she'd been sick and needed help. Grace spoke then, her teacher voice calm but firm. The kids don't owe you anything. This meeting is over if they want it to be. Chloe nodded, ran upstairs. Liam followed, not a word. Grace and I were left with Olivia, now sobbing, saying we'd turned her children against her. I told her she'd done that 9 years ago, and she needed to leave. But she wasn't done. She said she'd talked to a lawyer, that she had rights as their biological mother, even if she'd been absent. Before she left, Olivia pressed a piece of paper with her number into my hand, saying the kids should be able to reach her. I took it, though every part of me wanted to shred it. That's when I knew this wouldn't end quietly. Her lawyer threats were empty, of course. No attorney in their right mind would take a case where a mother abandoned her kids for 9 years and let her rights be terminated. But that didn't stop her. She started calling my phone constantly, leaving voicemails about deserving a second chance, how the kids needed to know their real mother. I blocked her. Then she somehow got Grace's number and started the same routine. Grace was patient, tried to be compassionate, understanding mental illness and trauma are real. But after the 5th voicemail in one day, Olivia crying, I can't heal until they forgive me. Don't you understand? This is destroying my mental health. Grace blocked her too. What made me reconsider my hard line was Chloe. About 2 weeks after that disastrous meeting, she came to me, thinking maybe she should talk to Olivia one more time. I asked why. She'd been having dreams about her birth mother, felt guilty she'd been too harsh. I recognized that guilt. I'd seen it in her for years, this feeling she was somehow responsible for Olivia leaving. Grace and I agreed, supervised phone contact if Chloe really wanted it. Liam, though, wanted nothing to do with it, and we respected his boundary. The calls started weekly, evenings. Always on speaker in the kitchen, with me or Grace present. Awkward at first, relatively harmless. Olivia asked about school, Chloe gave short answers. But Olivia gradually pushed boundaries. Comments about wishing she could take Chloe shopping, help her pick a dance dress, inserting herself into milestones she no longer had a right to. Chloe got off those calls drained, anxious. Biting her nails again, a stress habit she'd broken years ago. After 2 months, Olivia asked to meet Chloe for coffee, just them. Chloe seemed open to it until Liam overheard us discussing it and absolutely lost it. He said we were idiots if we trusted Olivia alone with Chloe after everything she'd done, that Chloe was just feeling guilty, pressured, didn't actually want a relationship with someone who'd abandoned her. That fight ended with Liam slamming his bedroom door, not speaking to us for 2 days. It hit me then, this situation was tearing our family dynamic apart. I emailed Olivia, in-person meetings weren't happening, we needed to slow down. Her response was a long message about me being controlling, keeping her from her daughter, how she'd done the therapy work, and deserved trust. A week later, I got a call from Chloe's school counselor. An incident. A woman, claiming to be Chloe's biological mother, had shown up during dismissal, tried to approach her in the parking lot. School security intervened. Olivia wasn't on the approved pickup list. Chloe started crying, called Grace, who arrived in 10 minutes to take her home. I left work immediately. Chloe was in her room, door locked. Grace told me Chloe was terrified, kept saying she didn't feel safe. Olivia had apparently told the security guard she had every right to see her daughter, called Grace an imposter, making a scene in front of Chloe's classmates and teachers. I was furious. Not like when she left. Abandoning your kids is one thing. Coming back to traumatize them all over again? That's something else entirely. I called my lawyer that day, started the restraining order process, documenting every voicemail, email, now this school incident. Olivia's response to being served was a series of increasingly unhinged emails, accusing me of parental alienation, threatening to go to the media with her story about how I'd stolen her children. My lawyer assured me her threats were baseless. The restraining order would hold up easily. But it didn't help. I saw what this was doing to Chloe, who blamed herself for trying to give Olivia a chance. Liam, though, became fiercely protective. He started walking Chloe to all her classes, waiting outside her rehearsals. The first time I saw it, I realized he'd been carrying the weight of protecting her since he was 6. The restraining order was granted. I thought that would be it. Olivia would finally back off, maybe get the help she actually needed. But 2 weeks later, Chloe came to me. She wanted to call Olivia one last time for closure. She'd talked to her school counselor, felt she needed to tell Olivia directly how her actions affected her, that she couldn't move forward without saying her piece. Grace and I were hesitant. But Chloe was 13, mature enough to articulate her need. My lawyer confirmed the restraining order prevented Olivia from contacting us, but didn't prohibit supervised contact if we initiated it. So, we agreed, one final supervised call. The absolute last contact. Chloe dialed the number Olivia had given us, on speaker, all 3 of us in the room. When Olivia answered, her voice was desperate. Chloe, baby, I'm so sorry about the school. I just wanted to see you. Chloe took a deep breath. Her voice was steady. She'd spent years wondering what was wrong with her that made her mom leave. She finally realized nothing was wrong with her. Olivia had made a choice. She told Olivia that Grace was her real mom now, the one who'd been there for every hard moment, every achievement, and that she didn't want any more contact because it hurt too much. Olivia started crying, trying to interrupt, but Chloe kept going. She hoped Olivia would get better, but Chloe couldn't be the one to fix her. When Chloe hung up, she collapsed into Grace's arms and sobbed. But it was a different kind of crying. Like something had been released. We all thought that was truly the end until 3 days later. I got a call from a hospital in Denver. Olivia had been admitted after an incident and listed me as her emergency contact. The nurse said she was stable but asking to speak with me. A wave of guilt, anger, exhaustion hit me all at once. Even now, Olivia was making her pain everyone else's problem. I didn't go. I didn't take her calls. Instead, I reached out to Olivia's sister, who I'd stayed in touch with. Explained the situation. She hadn't spoken to Olivia in years either, but agreed to go be with her, coordinate whatever care she needed. My therapist, who I'd started seeing 2 months after Olivia reappeared, told me I couldn't save Olivia, and protecting my children had to come first. Logically, I knew that. Emotionally, I still felt like I'd somehow failed. The last update from Olivia's sister was that she'd been moved to a psychiatric facility for intensive treatment. She'd ensure Olivia got help without involving us anymore. Liam and Chloe both know what happened. I've always believed in age-appropriate honesty. Chloe cried, but also said she didn't want to feel responsible for Olivia's choices anymore. It's been 4 months since all that. Our life has slowly returned to normal. Chloe is back to her happy self, just got cast in another show. Liam is looking at colleges with basketball programs. Sometimes I wonder if I handled everything wrong. If there was some way I could have helped Olivia reconnect without it turning into chaos. But then I watch Grace helping Chloe run lines, or cheering at Liam's games. And I know I made the right choice. My kids are happy, healthy. They have a mother who chose them every single day. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. I don't know if you can ever truly escape the consequences of your choices, but my children shouldn't have to pay for Olivia's mistakes twice, and they won't. Not as long as I'm here to protect them. What would you have done in my situation?